Good day. It's JJ MMA. Today, we are going to be breaking down UFC 329, McGregor versus Holloway, starting with the early prelims and ending with the main event, giving you my full card picks, predictions, and breakdowns. And McGregor's back. He's back. The return of the Mac. He's back, and he's facing none other than Max Holloway. This is going to be a certified banger of a main event. There's no way it isn't. There's no way McGregor lays on Holloway for 25 minutes, right? That's not going to happen. Come on, guys. But bottom to top, man, this is a stacked card, and usually McGregor cards aren't very stacked, but this is a very, very stacked card. I guess you could make the argument for 205 and 229, but I don't think those are really stacked, but this is a stacked card for not having a title fight on it, for sure. We're going to have to get through some snoozers on the prelims to open it out, but it's okay. You know, there's going to be some low-level fights to start out the prelims, but we're going to get through them. And I think there will be a lot of KOs on this card. I think this is going to be a very exciting card. And yeah, we're going to start off with the first prelim of the night, Alessandro Costa versus Cody Durden. This is a short notice fight for Alessandro Costa. He's been taken, I think he's already fought like 4 times this year. Alessandro Costa is having a great year. He's filling in on short notice nonstop. He's a company man, just like Diego Lopez, who's actually on his fight team. And he has, I think, the Diego Lopez cut. I think he's got behind this business in the front. He's got a little bit of a party in the back with his mullet. But excuse me, Cody Durden's he's nobody that you can just run over if you're an Alessandro Costa. I feel like if you're like middle of the barrel in the flyweight division competition, like you're fair game for Cody Durden. Cody Durden just came off a great win against Jafel Filho. I think April 25th. Yeah, April 25th. That's the first card we actually reacted to on the channel. Sterling versus Zalal. And Alessandro Costa, he's fought since then. I think he fought on the he just fought Matt Schnell on the Balal card at the start of June. So he's making a 1-month turnaround to fight Cody Durden. But Cody Durden is no joke, man. He just beat Jafel Filho, and you can never tell which fights Cody Durden's going to do well in. And I don't think he's, I was thinking that he was going to do well for a second, maybe wrestle Alessandro Costa. But Alessandro Costa is kind of a nightmare stylistic matchup for Cody Durden, if I'm being honest. And Alessandro Costa recently has looked like he's looked good against the opponents that he's went against. And I know it hasn't been the best of competition. I know he's went against Stuart Nickel, I think, and he finished him with a body shot, nasty body shot at that. This guy's got bricks for hands, Alessandro Costa, but he does have a lot of holes in his game that can't be exposed. I'm pretty sure he was finished by Amir Albazi. That's not very good. And I don't know why Amir Albazi is still so high up in the rankings, but that's what got him high up in the rankings, I'm pretty sure. And then Alessandro Costa just finished Matt Schnell, who's there to be finished, and he's retired now. But I think that Alessandro Costa is going to, keep on this track. He's going to stay on his 3-fight KO streak, or however long it is, if there was anything before that. I think that he's going to end up finishing Cody Durden in the second round. I think that the first round, he's just going to stay measured. It's like a Diego Lopez type of first round, you know what I'm saying? Like, Diego Lopez doesn't really finish you in the first round. He's kind of just like, playing the range game with you, kind of eyeballing it, seeing what openings are available, you know what I'm saying? I think Alessandro Costa is going to kind of follow that Diego Lopez type game plan. Then he's going to force a brawl in round 2 out of Cody Durden once Cody Durden gets a little bit more comfortable. And then once he lures him into that brawl, I think he'll finish him with a body shot or something in up close, maybe an uppercut, something like that off the break. He'll connect on Cody Durden's chin or with a body shot because this guy's got nasty body shots as well. I'm going to pick Alessandro Costa to win this one by round 2 TKO. We're going to move on to the next fight up the card. Ryan Gandra versus Zach Reese. Dude, I've been kind of fence sitting this one, and I've been fence sitting a lot of other fights on this card as well. But, Ryan Gandra is a -130 favorite here. I know you guys can't see it. -130 to +110. Yeah, so he's a small favorite here, and I think I understand it because he's coming off a, great first round finish. He's got big power in his hands. He had a solid finish on the Contender Series. He had a great finish over Jose Medina on the Mexico card earlier in the year. But at the same time, man, it's Jose Daniel Medina, bro. Jose Medina has been there in his UFC career, and now he's out of the UFC, I'm pretty sure. Hopefully he is, because he's 0-4 in the UFC and gets slimed out in every single fight. And he got signed after losing his first Contender Series fight, but apparently like Dana wanted to give him some grace because, you know, he's fighting out of, I think, Bolivia or something, was Jose Daniel Medina, and Bolivia don't have the best resources or something like that. But regardless, the point that I'm trying to make here is that Jose Daniel Medina is not the best win to have in the UFC. And Zach Reese has been tested by high-level prospects, high-level fighters in the UFC. Zachary Reese has been can crushing before. I'm pretty sure Zachary Reese has beat like Cedric Demas or something like that. Oh no, he had a no contest against Cedric Demas. I forgot about that. But Zach Reese just recently had a fight with Michel Pereira, which you could argue he won that fight. And Michel Pereira just lost to Sharon Magomedov, and he looked good-ish in that fight. You know, he knocked him down in the first round, but then after that just decided to take rounds 2 and 3 off. Typical Michel Pereira fight IQ. But, you know, Ryan Gandra, he's got the big power. Zachary Reese's chin kind of worries me, especially early. I feel like Ryan Gandra will be able to finish Zachary Reese here. And in my notes right now, I do have Zachary Reese winning this one by decision, because I feel like this guy he's kind of a length maxer, man. Like, he has a great build for MMA fighting. He has long legs. He's like extremely leg reach mogging Ryan Gandra here. And he has a solid reach advantage as well. So, you know, the physicals look great for Zachary Reese. And just like, if you look at the MMA math, like you see his performance against Michel Pereira, you can argue he won that fight, by the way. And you think, oh, you know, he's going to beat a guy who hasn't really proven himself like Ryan Gandra. I'm just not going to take that risk. And I feel like Ryan Gandra is going to win this fight by a comfortable first round KO. We're going to move on to the next fight up the card. Oh yeah, I can't click on this one. I forgot. Yeah, I can't click on this one, I guess. But Farid Basharat versus John Garza. And the reason I can't click on this one right here is because John Garza is a very short notice opponent that filled in for Ethan Ewing, who had to pull out of this card. I forget what injury it is, but Ethan Ewing had to pull out of this card with an injury. At the very last moment, they find this kid named John Garza on, I think, 6 days' notice, maybe 5 days' notice. They find John Garza to fill in for Ethan Ewing. And John Garza, I've been watching the tape on him. He's pretty solid, and he's got great boxing. He's been going up against decent enough competition. He's not in the LFA. I forget what it is, but he's fought in some promotion that's decent. I think it's Fury FC. I think John Garza has been fighting in Fury FC, and that's decent enough competition. And he's been KOing these guys, man. He's been KOing these guys. He's another guy on this card like Alessandro Costa, who's got nasty body shots, bricks for hands, really solid looking prospect. He's well rounded as well. But Farid Basharat is a guy who's very proven in the UFC, and he is, I'm pretty sure he's 15-0, 16-0, something like that. My throat's dry. But John Garza is a really tough test for him, and it's a different stylistic matchup than the guys that he's been going up against. Like Farid Basharat, where I think in his most recent fight, he went up against Gene Matsumoto, who recently beat Beksat Almakhan. But regardless, Gene Matsumoto is a decent guy outside the rankings at bantamweight. But for Farid Basharat, like, he's kind of like on this hype train a little bit. Like, he's got a little hype train behind him because he's undefeated. He has a lot of wins in the UFC, and he's right outside the. He is in the rankings. He's ranked number 15 in the world now at bantamweight. And I don't get how he's ranked and how Bryce Mitchell isn't ranked, by the way, because Farid Basharat's wins aren't very impressive. He only has one finish in the UFC over a low-level guy. And in his most recent fight, he beat Gene Matsumoto by split decision, when guys like Rob Font were able to do that a little more comfortably, even though I think that Rob Font's fight was also a split decision, but I think it was a little clearer. But Farid Basharat is a guy who should be looking a lot better out there than Rob Font at Rob Font's ripe age of 40. So I think that Farid Basharat's a little bit overrated of a prospect, just because every time he goes up against these lower level guys, like right outside the rankings, like I'd say if there was like a top 25 rankings, these guys would be in like the 20 to 25 range. Like, he's fighting these guys and he's barely edging out wins against them. He's like, it's like unanimous decision, split decision. He had that one arm triangle submission over I forget who, but regardless, I think that John Garza, just because he's not proven and I don't have enough information, even though I have watched the tape, even though I do know that this guy fought in Fury FC and that he's pretty solid, I'm not confident in picking him, and I don't know how he's a favorite in this one. As you can see, the odds slightly favor him here. I don't understand that, and I think that Farid Basharat is a very good pick to win by decision. I think he's going to win this one by decision. I think he's going to edge this one out, and I think that he's probably going to just out-grapple John Garza and maybe hold him down. So this one's going to be a rougher one to watch. It's not going to be very entertaining. It's going to be one of the stinkers that's going to be on this card, and almost every card has its stinkers, except for UFC White House. That's why I think it's one of the greatest cards in history. But this being a 14-fight card has less of an advantage than a 7-fight card. But regardless, I think that Farid Basharat is going to win this one by a close decision over John Garza. But John Garza is good. He could KO Farid Basharat. It's a possibility. We're going to move on to the next fight up the card. D. Pinas versus Cesar Almeida. D. Pinas, man, bro. He's just got that girth and tonnage, and he's gonna explode with shots all over Cesar Almeida's face. His chin, his body. I think that D. Pinas is going to absolutely dominate Almeida. He's going to be able to penetrate. Pinas is going to be able to penetrate through Almeida's guard. Pinas is going to be able to penetrate through Almeida's mouth. Okay, all right. I need to stop. But D. Pinas, all jokes aside, is actually very good. He is very good. In his last fight, he went up against Wes Schultz, and he kind of just victimized him. Wes Schultz is... Dude, Wes Schultz actually won his last fight. I forgot, but he was losing before that. But regardless, he dogged it out in round 3 and got a submission win. But Wes Schultz, if the fight's not on the ground, he's just a victim out there. And especially to a guy like D. Pinas, who's big and girthy. And I mean, yeah, Pinas has some good size to him. Dude, actually, Pinas is 6'1". Pinas is 79.5 inches, which is, I think that's a world record. All right, I'm kidding. Yeah, D. Pinas. He's from, this is interesting. It says he's from Suriname right here, which is an African country. But it says he's from Aruba too here, which I think is like some small North American island country. Maybe it's an African country. You geography buffs out there in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong about all that. But interesting, man. Pinas has many origins. But I think that Pinas is going to absolutely victimize Cesar Almeida in this fight, but it's not going to be that easy. It's going to be like, Pinas is kind of like a Teba Gautier type of prospect. I think that he's a little bit quicker, though. That's the thing. And I don't think they're going to have him can crushing as long, because Cesar Almeida is not really that bad of a can. I think that Cesar Almeida is going to be able to hold his own for a little bit. But later into round 1 or earlier in round 2, I think that eventually Pinas is just going to slime him out, and Pinas is going to unleash all of his gooey shots all over Almeida's face. But yeah, I think that Pinas has got this one in the bag, man. Pinas is actually very good. His only loss on his record is a DQ. I don't want to sound like one of those Jones fans who completely ignores the Reyes loss. But dude, Pinas is good. I can't wait to see Pinas tested here. Cesar Almeida is not that bad as well. I think that he'll be able to give Pinas a little bit of a test. But you know, after a little bit of edging, after a little bit of edging here, I think that Pinas is just going to be explosive enough to get this one done, and he'll be able to unleash shots all over Cesar Almeida. And Pinas is going to drop Cesar Almeida and then finish it off. Pinas is going to finish all over Cesar Almeida. I'm saying too much of these Pinas jokes, man. But yeah, I think Pinas is going to get this one done by round 1 KO. Late into round 1, though, I think that Cesar Almeida is going to be able to hold his own for a second. He's going to be pulling that Ozzy Diaz versus a Teba Gautier, being like, his shots don't hurt, man. His shots don't hurt, and laughing in his corner, and then he just gets like slimed out. I don't think Almeida is going to make it to the corner, but if he does, it's going to be an early round 2 slime out. In my opinion, Damian Pinas is really good. All jokes aside, we're going to move on to the next fight up the card. Tracy Cortez versus Wang Kong. Yo, am I just noticing this? But they've got Wang and Pinas on the same card, bro. There's no way this isn't intentional. Wang Kong and Pinas right next to each other on the early prelims of this card. But yeah, I mean, all jokes aside with Wang Kong, her name's pretty funny too. Dude, she's good as well, and I think that she'll win this one by submission. Tracy Cortez is, you know, she's very hot and she's beautiful, and you know, she's one of the, I'd say the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in the UFC ever. but you know, um, dude, she can be submitted. She just got submitted by Erin Blanchfield in her last fight, and I don't think Erin Blanchfield's all that great for the women. Like, yeah, Erin Blanchfield's all right for the women's flyweight division, but I think that Tracy Cortez, if she was legit and she was 12-2 before that fight, she should be getting that one done. And Tracy Cortez is not a finisher herself. She goes to decision a lot. She only has 2 finishes in her career. I believe both are outside of the UFC. She's on like before. I think before the Blanchfield fight where she got submitted, she was on like the decision streak of doom. Like, she was just getting decision after decision after decision. She lost a decision to Rose Namajunas. But yeah, Tracy Cortez isn't bad at all, but I think that Wang Kong is very good. And Wang Kong is a very solid fighter. That is she outside the rankings? No, she's ranked at number 12. But Wang Kong is violent. You know, she's good. And yeah, she's the Jonkler, man. She is the Joker. That's her fight nickname, and she is. I think a clip of hers went viral like earlier in her career on Road to UFC when she showed up for a face-off with some other prospect that she was fighting on Road to UFC, and she had Joker makeup, and everybody was clowning her for it. Even people that weren't fans of the UFC and had no clue who she was. Yeah, the Joker. We got the Chinese Joker, man. My father was commie and a crook. Yeah, Wang Kong, man. My father was a commie and a crook. Yeah, but I think that she's gonna get this one done against Tracy Cortez. I don't know why I just stand there, making a Joker impression out of Wang Kong, but yeah, Tracy Cortez is all right, but I think Wang Kong's going to be able to submit her. Wang Kong does have a great finishing game. Dude, the Wang's going to finish all over you, man. Dude, Wang and Pinas are going to be getting finishes. Wang and Pinas will be finishing this card. Wang and Pinas capping off these early prelims, both finishing all over their opponents. And yeah, Wang Kong's going to get this one done by a submission. I'd say round 2. I think that round 2, yeah, she'll probably get this one done in round 2. I believe Tracy Cortez also got submitted in round 2 against Erin Blanchfield, which I was sad about. Yeah, I mean, Tracy Cortez is hot and all that, but I've been hearing some rumors out of Brian Ortega and friends that, you know, she's a bit of a problem. All right, I'm playing, guys. But it is true. Just ask T-City himself. Anyways, we're going to move on without further ado to the prelims. Luke Riley, lad, versus Kai Kamaka. I'm on the Luke Riley hype train, and he didn't have the best of performance in his last fight against Michael Aswell. I feel like there were times he could have finished that fight, but Michael Aswell's a tough guy. He is actually a tough out for some guys at the featherweight division. I believe Michael Aswell trains with Joshua Van. There's a few guys in the UFC who are training with Joshua Van, like Aiden Correa, who I think is on the Oklahoma City card next week. Michael Aswell, and there's some other dudes in here too. I think Dakota Hope, who was actually the last opponent of Kai Kamaka, and Kai Kamaka didn't look great in that fight. I'll just say that, and I think that Dakota Hope probably won that fight too. It was very close, but Kai Kamaka recently also got beaten by Diego Brandao, who was a McGregor opponent from like I think 12 years ago. That was like a 2014 McGregor opponent when McGregor was on the rise at featherweight, and I think he was making his way up the rankings or something like that. Yeah, he fought Diego Brandao, and that was a recent opponent of Kai Kamaka in 2024. And Diego Brandao has actually been winning a lot of these fights on the regional scene, and he ended up beating Kai Kamaka in 2024. But on the side of Luke Riley is the type of guy that I can see finishing Kai Kamaka. And Kai Kamaka is a tough guy as well. He's got the Hawaiian warrior spirit and stuff like that. Maybe the little Hawaiian ties between him and Holloway. Maybe they're putting him on this card because of Holloway or something like that. I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to build some type of hype train for Hawaiian fighters, something like that. That would actually make a little bit of sense from a marketing standpoint. But I think that Luke Riley is going to be too good here. Too fresh, too young, too skilled, too fast, too powerful for Kai Kamaka in this one. And I think he's going to get this one done by round 2 TKO. He's going to be like, dude, Luke Riley, I think he was a Muay Thai world champion or something like that. I think Patty said something like that. Fucking hell, lad. Luke Riley, the Muay Thai world champion. Champion of fucking everything, lad. Dude, Luke Riley, he's good. He finished Bogdan by a nasty left hook after having a pretty bad first round. Luke Riley's the kind of guy who likes to be hit a little bit in the first round, likes to test out the waters, likes to go through a little adversity, and then all of a sudden the second round he just switches on, locks in, and bang, it's over like that. But, I mean, he didn't finish his last fight against Michael Aswell, but he didn't have the best of performances in that one either. I think that Kai Kamaka is going to be very open. Kai Kamaka likes to kick a lot at range, he likes to throw body kicks, likes to throw low kicks. And I think that Joshua Van style, like how Joshua Van was able to time Tatsuro Taira with that little the calf kick into the, like, Tairo's throwing a calf kick and the calf kicks were working against Van, and then Van just ended up throwing that right hand down the middle as Tairo was kicking, and then he just sat him down with that, and that was like the beginning of Van's domination of that fight. Up until round 4 when Taylor got himself back into it. But what I'm trying to say here is that Kai Kamaka is going to be kicking and Luke Riley is going to be able to make an adjustment mid-fight. Maybe he goes to the corner realizing that Kamaka's a bit kick heavy, and then he's going to capitalize off that, and he's going to be able to time Kamaka, throw something down the middle, or maybe catch him with like that little check left hook that he finished Bogdan Grad with. I think it's going to be something like that, some type of sequence that involves Kai Kamaka kicking and Luke Riley countering that, maybe with a 2 down the middle. I can see Luke Riley finishing Kai Kamaka in round 2. I think that this is the type of opponent that Kai Kamaka is not going to be able to cockroach max against. This is a relatively easy opponent stylistically for Luke Riley, so I'm going to go with him to win by a round 2 KO or a TKO. We're going to move on to the next fight up the card. Cody Garbrandt versus Adrian Yanez. I can't pick Garbrandt to win a fight. In 2026, I just can't pick him to win a fight. I picked him to beat Zhao Long, but he didn't actually win that fight. He won that fight. Yes, sure, he won the fight, but he got 2 points deducted from him. It actually probably could have been a draw because, judges had weird scorecards, and he could have won one round. I can see the argument for him winning because Zhao Long was literally battering his nuts with his shin. So, I mean, yeah, Zhao Long deserves to lose. He kicked him in the nuts like 4 times. And that's how Cody Garbrandt ended up winning that fight. And Cody Garbrandt had some good moments, was stinging Zhao Long with some punches in round 1, but got dropped with a brutal head kick, but got right back up. Garbrandt is initially chinny, but he does have some decent recovery time, even into his late 30s or however old Garbrandt is. I think he's like 35, so mid-30s. Adrian Yanez, on the other hand, in his most recent performance, against a guy who's not that bad either outside the bantamweight rankings, is a little bit washed, but he's still a decent enough opponent and will beat bottom of the barrel guys in the bantamweight division. Ricky Simone. That's Ricky Simone. And Adrian Yanez he kind of made it look easy, man, and that should have been a draw. One of the weirdest decisions I've ever seen in my life. Adrian Yanez fucked up the face of Ricky Simone badly. Cut him up above his eye, cut him here, there. There's so many deep cuts on Ricky Simone's face. That's what I remember. Maybe there was like 1 or 2, and I'm just exaggerating shit. But, dude, Adrian Yanez messed up, what's the name? Ricky Simone. Yeah, messed up Ricky Simone. And in Garbrandt's last fight, he went against Zhao Long, who's not that good. Still can catch you. Still is one of the better Chinese fighters. But, yeah, Cody Garbrandt would have lost that fight without being kicked in the nuts. And Cody Garbrandt kind of had a moment in that fight where after he gets kicked in the nuts, he he turns on anime style and just glares. He glares into Zhao Long's soul, and then with his knife tattoo over his eye that he just decided to get for no fucking reason after he lost the belt. Dude, oh my gosh, bro. Who would this guy be without fighting? I think that's the reason he's still fighting. Dude, oh my gosh. And he just, let me resume the story. And he just like glares into him anime style. And then Zhao Long's like, right here. And then they run to the center. Cody Garbrandt throws like a flying knee that he's only able to like get up to his chest. And he completely misses it. Like Zhao Long just runs into him with his body. And then after that, right back to circling around the cage. The thing about Garbrandt, man, is he's so trigger shy. It's unbelievable how trigger shy this guy is. He doesn't throw. Like, he'll throw a few punches in round 1, but he's like an MVP, except with terrible defense. Not terrible defense, he has decent defense, but his chin's there. His chin is there to be hit if you can track him down. Like he is good with circling on the outside, but he keeps his guard like here, and that's not going to work in an MMA fight if you're going to have like Cody Garbrandt used to be the king of head movement when he was fighting Dominic Cruz. You know, he's just like, you know, doing all this, man, ooh, and then ooh, and the dancing and shit, bro. And he barely won that fight. Everybody's like, Cody Garbrandt prime for 25 minutes, and I agree with that to some extent. But he won that fight 3-2, and that was against an Dominic Cruz. But we're not talking about old Cody Garbrandt, you know, who had the close fights with TJ, almost finished TJ when he was saved by the bell. We're talking about Cody Garbrandt of now, who's completely trigger shy, chinny, and won his last fight by getting bashed in the nuts by Xiaolong's shins. I mean, I could still see Garbrandt winning this fight to some degree, but I'm never going to pick him. I'm not going to pick him again unless it's against a terrible opponent. And Adrian Yanez is not terrible to any extent. I think that Adrian Yanez is going to end up getting this one done by decision. I don't think he's going to chin Cody Garbrandt. I think that he may drop him once. But, I mean, he did drop Ricky Simone, too. And Ricky Simone has a noticeably better chin than Cody Garbrandt does. But Cody Garbrandt does recover. I think Cody Garbrandt might get the shit beat out of him a little bit in this fight. Or he might just not throw it all and avoid combat to a decision. But I think that Adrian Yanez is going to win this fight by decision regardless. I could definitely see a KO, though. We're going to move on to the next fight up the card. Gable Steveson versus Ellison, the Snack Panther himself. I didn't realize that Ellison was actually shorter than Gable Steveson. He will have a reach advantage in this one. It is kind of impressive that Ellison has a 6'6" reach at 6 feet tall. That's actually kind of crazy. He has some pretty long arms. But yeah, the Snack Panther ain't going to win this one. Gable Stevenson's a minus 2,500 favorites. I've seen highlights on like Happy Punch and all that on Instagram where he's a minus 4,000 favorite, which is, I think, an even bigger favorite than Bo Nickel ever was. So he's the biggest betting favorite in UFC history. And yeah, I mean, his picture isn't even here in neither of his measurables. And, you know, I think that's a little bit of a loophole. And I think that's a loophole on the UFC website. Just go look up Gable Steveson loophole, and that'll tell you everything you need to know. So, yeah, I mean, as much as I don't like Gable Steveson for, like, you know, his past and stuff, and there's a reason that he's training with Jones. You know, they have some things alike, have some things in common, but Gable Steveson has looked good. But the thing about Gable Steveson, man, is he's had 3 pro MMA fights, and he's had 1 exhibition, and he's finished every fight by knockout. His striking actually looks pretty good, and he mixes in his wrestling well, too. He's going to be a problem at heavyweight for a little bit, I think. And the fact that he got spinning heel kicked in his last fight and just ate it, that looks good against a heavier guy, too. But you want to see the type of opponents he was fighting? Braden Peterson. 2-4. 38 years old, 2-4. Oh my gosh. He was a big dude, but just look at the guy, man. He looks like if Bisping was just like, if Bisping just blew himself up and became diabetic. You know what I mean? Let's see how many. 2 wins and 2 losses by KO, and then got submitted twice. So, I mean, the guy's a finisher, but man, like that's the type of opponents that Gable Steveson was going against, and he was going against another guy who was 2-3. Then he went up against a guy who was like 11-4 actually, but he didn't look the best. He's a Mexican guy who was like 11-4, and he was fighting in LFA. I think that was his first fight in LFA. I think, yeah, that Mexican guy was in LFA, but Gable Steveson has looked great with the wrestling. He's got solid boxing. His striking looks very improved. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that he'll get a submission win. I don't even think he'll need to take this one to the ground. If he does take it to the ground, I can definitely see a ground and pound finish or something like that. But I can see him just being patient for a second. And everybody's like, oh, the Snack Panther's doing his job. Like, the Snack Panther's going to be popping a jab, you know, throwing out his 2. I hope the Snack Panther wins this one, by the way. He seems like a chill dude. I just seen an interview with him. But yeah, I mean, he's shorter than Gable Steveson. Or Gable Steveson. Yes, Gable Steveson, that's his name. He's shorter than Gable Steveson by 1 inch, and Gable Stevenson's not a very big guy for the heavyweight division. He's like Hokit size, except maybe a little bit more muscle. Yeah, I think that Gable Stevenson's going to get this one done by a round 1 KO, and I don't think it's going to be relatively easy to start it. Like, it's going to be like, oh, Gable Stevenson's getting fraud checked, and then he's going to catch him with I think like a left hook or something like that. Left hook into a takedown. Like he had that one nasty KO where he went left hook into a takedown. There's no denying this guy's talented. As much as I don't like the guy, there's no denying he's talented. Division I wrestling champion. And other than that, he's looking like he has great boxing so far. A finishing ability, that's for sure. I think that he's going to get this one done by a round 1 KO. I think that he'll hit Elisha Ellison with like some type of overhand or a left hook. It'll be some type of KO. If he takes this to the ground, he might hit him with his infamous loophole submission. Just look that one up. He's actually got to finish by submission. It's called a loophole. So look up Gable Steveson loophole, okay? We're going to move on. We're going to move on to the next fight of the card. Robert Whittaker, Bobby Knuckles versus Nikita Krylov. This isn't even the main card, and we got Bobby Knuckles on here. This is going to be a sick card. Dude, Bobby Knuckles by a TKO, mate. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Bloody fucking Australia, lad. I know I just said that in a Scouse accent, but my impressions are off today. I'm feeling a little bit dry in the throat, pause. But yeah, I think Bobby Knuckles is probably going to win this fight. And Nikita Krylov is a tricky customer at times. But like against Modestas Bukauskas, who is not the greatest of strikers in my opinion. Like Modestas Bukauskas is striking heavy a bit, yes. But I don't think that Modestas Bukauskas is very good on the feet. In Modestas Bukauskas' last fight, he fought some guy from I forget where, but he had like an 8-4 record, and he took him to like a bloodbath, not a bloodbath, but a very close split decision. And yeah, that was Nikita Krylov's most recent win by KO, yes, but he caught him in like the last 3 seconds of the fight when Modestas Bukauskas was trying to throw down and he left his chin wide open. So I think that, yes, Robert Whittaker is chinny, but Nikita Krylov's chinny too. And Robert Whittaker is going to be a lot faster. This is his natural weight class. And he's got good boxing too. The reach discrepancy isn't going to be as crazy as I thought it was. It's only 4 inches, which is still a lot, but I think that he'll be able to close that gap. And I think that he'll be able to blitz in and hit Nikita Krylov with something down the middle, some uppercuts, rip to the body a bit, throw some leg kicks, maybe throw that little head kick up there. Uppercut. His uppercut is great. That's what he finished Ikram Aliskerov with, was his uppercut. And he caught him with, I believe, a straight right hand before that wobbled him. He threw a head kick in that KO sequence against Ikram Aliskerov. I think that this is, Bobby Knuckles is going to get this one back. He's going to get his winning streak back on track. And he's going to right the wrongs with his last fight with Rainier de Ridder. Like, he's going to, when I say that he's going to right the wrongs, I don't mean he's going to rematch Rainier de Ridder. I don't think that's going to happen. But, I mean, I think that he probably won that fight. I think that he won that fight. And I know that's going to be controversial because a lot of people did think he lost that. And, he did lose that on the official. Like, the officials ruled that he lost that. It was a split decision. He lost a split decision. But I think that he won that fight. I think he clearly won that 3-2. He did more damage, whereas Rainier de Ridder was kind of just laying on him against the cage. Yeah, I think Bobby Knuckles is going to get his lick back, and he's going to finish Nikita Krylov. He's going to chin him with some type of uppercut, maybe a left hook. He's going to blitz in with a long combo, and he's going to wobble Nikita Krylov and get it done by TKO. I think it's going to be an early round 2 TKO. This one's going to make it out of the first round, I'm thinking. But I think that this is going to be an early round 2 TKO here for Bobby Knuckles. We're going to move on to the main card. Terrence McKinney versus King Green. Bobby Green. I can't call a grown man king, bro. This is going to be a barn burner, an absolute barn burner. This is guaranteed barn burner. Guaranteed finish. Maybe not round 1 finish because King Green just said, "Damn, Terrence, I'm going to take you out of round 1, man. You're an early pumper, dude." But, yeah, I think that King Green is going to drag Terrence McKinney into deep waters. And by deep waters, I mean the end of round 1, I say, with a flashlight shining below my chin, ominously. But I think that Bobby Green is going to get this one done. I think that Terrence McKinney is an early pumper, just like King Green said, finishing in 2-3 minutes. And, dude, whoa, damn, Terrence. That was like, he just did an interview with some random dude, and he was calling Terrence McKinney an early pumper. Go check it out. But, yeah, I think that Bobby Green he's on a 3-fight win streak. Terrence McKinney is very dangerous for him. I will admit that. Terrence McKinney is a dangerous proposition for everyone. Everyone that doesn't like to be blitzed, but King Green is kind of used to that. And he's like, King Green, I feel like the thing with King Green is like he struggles with guys that pick shots at distance and are nasty counterpunchers like Mauricio Huffy. Like his stylistic nightmare is guys like him. And a guy like him is Mauricio Huffy, a guy that's gonna, stand at range with his hands down and look for head movement, look for like slip counters or pull counters, And Terrence McKinney isn't that at all. Terrence McKinney is just, run at you barbaric style, and immediately pressure and try to take you down. Maybe he'll try to take you down, maybe he'll just like head kick you like he did Kyle Nelson. But I think Kyle Nelson was absolutely like scared, dude. Kyle Nelson was like quivering in his boots before that fight, I'm sure. Dude, Kyle Nelson did not want to be in there, and that's why he just kind of went down with that head kick. He didn't want to be put on a t-shirt by Terrence McKinney in there, and he knew he was going to be, and that's why he was. King Green is going into this fight with big confidence. Him and Terrence McKinney are friends, but he says Terrence McKinney was like really pushing for this fight to be made, and it seemed like he was almost challenging Bobby Green. Keep calling him King, man. I can't call a grown man King. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? But that's the Bobby Green dilemma, man. It's like you either call him Bobby and he thinks you're disrespectful. Damn, man, why you call me Bobby, bro? That's not even my name anymore, dude. Or you call him King and you're calling a grown man King. So we'll just call him Bobby Green. And I think that he's gonna be able to slime out Terrence. I think that he's going to be able to circle out of Terrence McKinney's big blitzes, and eventually Terrence McKinney is going to just try to box him a little bit at distance, and that is King Green's game. And I think the second that happens, Terrence McKinney is a bit chinny, and he's gonna get chinned by Bobby Green. I think at the end of round one. Towards the end of round one, we're going to be like, oh, we're going to get out of round one. And it's going to be like 4 minutes elapsed in round one. Then King Green's just going to slip a straight from Terrence McKinney, or he's going to roll under a big hook. And he's just going to counter Terrence McKinney with whatever presents himself. Like he's either going to slip and then throw a right straight, or he's going to roll under a big haymaker and throw it a little overhand or a left hook or something like that, check left hook. And something like that's going to chin Terrence McKinney, and then maybe 1 or 2 follow-up shots for King Green, and Terrence McKinney's out. I think that's what's going to happen. Terrence McKinney is going to get overzealous, as he always does in these fights. He's always trying to finish in round one. That's why I say this is going to be an absolute barn burner. If you have ball knowledge, you should know that this is going to be a finish, no matter what. This should be like minus 2,000 odds to be a finish. So, yeah, I think that Bobby Green is going to get this one done by a round one slime out. Oh my gosh, my throat is messing me up right now. Pause. Oh my gosh. All right. Anyways, we're gonna move on. I'd take a second there. My brain froze. We're gonna move on to the next fight at the card: Brandon Royval versus Lonar Kavanagh. And I think I like these odds right here. I think I like this being plus 180, minus 220. Like Lonar Kavanagh is a sizable enough favorite, and I think that he should be. With his last performance against Brandon Moreno, he looks very, very good. He does look very good. And I think that the only reason, this should be common knowledge, but the only reason that he lost the fight against Charles Johnson is because he was exiting the clinch with his chin up in the air, and then he just got caught with the left hook and put out. That's what, dude, it happens to the best of us, you know what I'm saying? It happens to the best of us. You know what I mean? Me and Lonar Kavanagh. We are Lonar Kavanagh. We are rooting for Lonar Kavanagh to win this fight, and I think that he will. I think that he's going to beat Brandon Royval more comfortably than he beat Brandon Moreno. There was a little sequence in the Moreno fight where Moreno was badly wobbled. He went down to a knee at one point, but Brandon Moreno's super tough. He's not the guy who gets chinned at all. Like, Royval's been chinned. Royval just got chinned by Manel Kape, and he took a lot of damage in that because, dude, Manel Kape does damage like with that type of stuff, and that's why I'm worried for Kyoji Horiguchi after he got chinned by Manel Kape. Does he have long-lasting damage to his chin? And I know Horiguchi's been finished before, I think by Patrick Mix, but But Lonar Kavanagh, man, I think that he's going to pull Brandon Royval into a barn burner. And Brandon Royval does usually thrive in barn burner fights, but I think that Lonar Kavanagh is just too slick. He's too fast with his counters, with his head movement, and he's going to be able to catch Brandon Royval just like Manel Kape did. And Kavanagh has crazy power as well. It takes a powerful flyweight to be dropping Brandon Moreno. And Brandon, dude, that's because Brandon Moreno is a tough freaking dude, man. And Brandon Royval couldn't drop Brandon Moreno. I think Brandon Moreno beat Brandon Royval in their fight. So I think that Kavanagh is going to be able to pick apart Royval in the pocket. I think that he's going to rip to the body. You know, he's gonna be hitting him with hooks to the head, uppercuts. He's going to mix it up. He's going to throw leg kicks. He hurt Brandon Moreno bad to the leg in their fight. Kavanagh was messing up Moreno's legs. He had him, you know, like, and Moreno's been messed up with leg kicks before because he's very heavy on his front leg, but he's not always like lifting up his leg and turning it into a Muay Thai fighter. That's what Kavanagh made Brandon Moreno do in that fight, and that's why Moreno was losing so comfortably to Kavanagh. Dude, Kavanagh messed up Moreno. It's not easy to mess up Moreno, and he took that fight on like 3 weeks' notice. I think that a full camp loner Kavanagh training at Great Britain top team is going to absolutely destroy Brandon Royval. I think he's going to make it look easy. I think he's going to dominate him in round one, just pick him apart at distance. He's probably not going to sting him with something too hard. Royval does have a pretty decent chin as well, but I think that he's just going to be too much for him come round two. He's only going to get better by then. He's only going to be ripping him harder, but he's just going to be beating the shit out of Brandon Royval in this fight, and I think he's going to be able to get this one done by a round two pressure TKO, Max Holloway style at flyweight. He's going to get this one done, man. And Loner Kavanagh is good. I think he wins this fight. I think you give him Tatsuro Taira maybe at the Madison Square Garden card, because I think that's the fight that they're going to have Pantoja versus Van Tu on. So there you go. We're going to move on to the featured prelim, not the featured prelim, to the featured bout of the night on the main card. Corey Sandhagen versus Mario Bautista. Corey Sandhagen won the last fight. I believe he submitted Mario Bautista, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure Corey Sandhagen submitted Mario Bautista in their last fight, but that was a tadpole version of Mario Bautista. Mario Bautista is very, very much so improved, and so is Sandhagen, but Mario Bautista is more noticeably improved. He's got great grappling. He was able to scramble with Umar. Almost got Umar in an ankle lock submission. And it was either heel hook or ankle lock. I forget which one it was, but maybe they're the same thing. Maybe I'm just bugging right now. I don't know. But yeah, he had Umar in, I think, a deep heel hook submission. And Umar, being the dog that he is and never tapping because that's their culture around those parts, yeah, I mean, Mario Bautista is very good, and he looked great in his fight against Vinicius Oliveira. And I know Vinicius Oliveira ain't the best grappler, trust me, but Mario Bautista has just looked amazing in these scrambles, and he looks great on the feet with his boxing too. I know he outboxed Patrick Mix, but Mix of Patchy, but I mean, he looks good enough on the feet. I think that if he's trapped on the feet with Corey Sandhagen, there could be some bad propositions for him. I think this is going to go to a close decision. I think that this fight is like the lock of the night to go to decision. But it ain't going to be a boring decision. I don't think that Bautista will just be holding Sandhagen up against the cage like he did to Aldo. Still haven't forgave Bautista for that, by the way. But Bautista's got some finishes since then, and he did his best and had a decently entertaining... He tried to make it entertaining versus Umar, who's the definition of boring. You know what I mean? But if Sandhagen traps Mario on the feet with him, it's gonna be bad. In the words of Dustin Poirier, it's gonna be bad, my brother. It's gonna be bad for Mario Bautista if he gets trapped on the feet with Corey Sandhagen. And I think this Corey Sandhagen could probably slime him out if he defends all of Mario Bautista's takedowns. But what I'm seeing from Corey Sandhagen in his last few fights against Merab, against every other grappler that he's went against, except for Figueiredo, who's a shell of himself, he's been dragged down before. He was submitted by Aljo. You know, he was constantly tripped by Piotr Jan. And I know these aren't recent fights, but out of the grapplers that he's faced, besides Figgy, who's a shell of himself, he's been dragged down a lot by these guys. And I know he has a good guard. You know, he has submissions off his back. He definitely has a very underrated submission game, and he has a lot of submissions in the UFC. He has more submissions than knockout finishes, by the way. Wait, does he? No, that's Brandon Royval. Never mind. Brandon Royval has like 9 submissions. But I think that Mario Bautista is just going to be able to drag him down like Merab did. And I think that Mario Bautista is a better all-around grappler than Merab, in my opinion. Maybe not offensive wrestler, but it's pretty close, man. Mario Bautista is really good in the grappling, and I think he's just going to dominate Corey Sandhagen there. And if he's on the feet, I think he'll be able to jab up Corey Sandhagen decently enough. Due to the threat of the takedown. And that's why Merab was almost able to finish Corey Sandhagen on the feet, is because of the threat of the takedown. And that's what Mario Bautista is going to have. And that's going to work for him if he mixes in the grappling early, which I think that he will. And I think that Mario Bautista is going to win this one by a pretty comfortable 29-28 decision. There'll be one scorecard that's 30-27, and everybody on Twitter is going to be like, whoa. But I think that Mario Bautista is going to win this one pretty comfortably. We're going to move on to the co-main event. Benoit Saint-Denis versus Paddy Pimblett. I've been anticipating this fight. I've been looking forward to this fight. There's big implications on the line in this fight. The winner is going to fight Ilia Topuria, more than likely. It's not confirmed by any higher, someone with more power in the UFC or anything like that. But I think that the winner of this is going to fight Ilia Topuria. And it'll be a huge fight if Paddy Pimblett can win this fight. And I think that he is going to win this fight. I'm going to pick Paddy Pimblett to win this one. Benoit Saint-Denis ain't looking too good recently. Actually, he has been looking good in fights. Like, he's looked good to an extent against Dan Hooker, but, he's looking a bit vulnerable on the feet, like he was getting hurt with that teep to the body. He wasn't liking that in round one, getting teeped by Dan Hooker. When Dan Hooker wasn't even throwing hard teeps, it was just like hitting him in the right spot, and Benoit Saint-Denis was not liking the teeps from Dan Hooker. So I think if he's on the feet with Paddy Pimblett, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad, and I'm gonna talk about that in a second. He's also, what I mean by he's not looking good is he denies that it's staph, but it's either staph or some type of ringworm. He's got some type of skin problem on his leg, and it looked like there wasn't just one hole, one spot. It looked like there was just there might have been like 2 or 3 of them, and yeah, bro, I think I need to take a shower. In the words of Benoit Saint-Denis, that's my impression of him. I don't know why I brought that up, but I was just thinking about that. I was thinking of before I recorded this video. I was thinking about the way that BSD would pronounce words, because I don't hear him talking much. I thought about the word shower because he needs to take a shower because he's got skin diseases, and I just thought of the way that French people pronounce shower. You know what I mean? I just thought it was funny. But dude, Paddy, I think that he's gonna win this fight, man. Damn, Paddy. Dude, I love these impressions, man. Bobby Green. Damn, Paddy, man. You're really gonna choke me out like that? Damn, dude. No, but Paddy Pimblett is going to win this fight, I think, and he's gonna win it via his striking. He's not he hasn't been mixing in his grappling a lot recently. Yes, he took Michael Chandler down, and he's was in mount with him for a while, but I think he was threatening some arm bars, but he hasn't really been finishing his submissions as of recent. He did submit King Green, or Bobby Green. I can't call a grown man king. I can't. Oh my gosh, what the hell am I doing? But I think that Paddy Pimblett is going to beat him on the feet, because Benoit Saint-Denis, that's where he's most vulnerable. I think that BSD might be able to scramble with Paddy on the ground, because Benoit Saint-Denis has better grappling than striking. And yes, Benoit Saint-Denis has big power, but Paddy Pimblett's going to be eating that, man, after the Gaethje fight. I know Gaethje ain't necessarily known for his knockout power. He's more so known for his hard hands, and, weird angles of hitting people and being able to cut people like that. And his bone density, I think, plays a big factor in that. But Benoit Saint-Denis has big power. And there's still a chance that Paddy Pimblett could be chinned. He's not immune to the chin after, that performance against Gaethje. I think that Paddy Pimblett is going to keep this one at distance, and he's going to be able to kick him a lot. The reason that he beat Chandler is because he was kicking him a lot, and he's going to kick him a lot. And I think as the rounds go on, I think this one is going to go to 3 rounds. It won't go the distance. I think that this will be a round 3 finish, but it's going to be a very sloppy fight. Both guys aren't technical. This is going to be a very sloppy slugfest of a fight. But I think that's where Paddy Pimblett's going to thrive, and I think that he's going to unleash the body kicks a lot. He's got great body kicks. He's going to be unleashing those. Benoit Saint-Denis don't like body kicks all that much. So honestly, Paddy Pimblett could probably finish Benoit Saint-Denis by a liver kick or something like that. I could see that as well. He's just got to be careful running into range, because Benoit Saint-Denis could turn on Fluke State and Beneil Dariush. Because when he knocked out Beneil, it was just like this, and Beneil was out. And I know Beneil don't have the greatest chin in the world, but Paddy Pimblett could also be chinned by that. Who knows? But I think that once round 3 starts, I think Paddy Pimblett's going to turn, the kicks into punches, and he's going to catch him with offbeat strikes, maybe like a body kick into a straight right hand or something like that, knocks down BSD. BSD doesn't have the best of chins either. Dominated on the feet brutally by Moicano, chinned badly by Poirier. And I know Paddy Pimblett doesn't have the punch power of Poirier, but he can still put his hips into shots. pause, and he can really hit a guy, and he can knock a guy out, man. Paddy Pimblett has knockout power on the feet. And I think that he's going to exploit that against Benoit Saint-Denis. I think he's going to chin Benoit Saint-Denis with a punch. I think that there's a chance that he body shot TKOs him or something. Maybe teeps him like Dan Hooker and like teeps him over and over and just drops him, or maybe just blasts him with liver kicks or something like that. There's a chance of that. But I think that Paddy Pimblett's going to catch him with an offbeat strike, like a kick to a punch, in round 3. I think that he's going to KO him in round 3. That's my final prediction, but I'm going to tell you how it happens. In round 3, he's going to catch him with that offbeat punch, like a kick into a punch. And he's going to drop BSD. And then he's going to, be in the pocket and slug a bit. Benoit Saint-Denis is going to throw a punch back, but it's really not going to have any steam on it because he's hurt. And then Paddy Pimblett's just going to tee off on him with big meaty hooks. He's just going to tee off on him with tight hooks in the pocket, throwing some uppercuts, and just literally tee off on him. And Benoit Saint-Denis is going to be chinned out cold by one of those punches because he's bound to. If you're just like kind of standing in the pocket for a second and you don't got the best head movement and you're a blockhead and you got a bad chin, you're bound to be chinned by one of Paddy Pimblett's big meaty hooks that he's throwing in the pocket. So I think that's how it's going to happen. A round 3 finish is what I'm banking on here for Paddy Pimblett. We're going to move on to the main event. And man, bro, like I'm not fence sitting this, but the way that the UFC has been going, bro. The way that the UFC has been going. Let's go over it, man. Let's go over it. First off, and I know there was some logic to this one. I actually picked Justin Gaethje, but Justin Gaethje beating Paddy Pimblett. I didn't expect that one at the start of the year. Charles Oliveira beating Max Holloway. You would think that Max Holloway is a nightmare stylistic matchup for Charles Oliveira. But dude, Charles Oliveira was just able to lay on him for 5 rounds in an absolute barn burner of a fight, kid. Izzy looking great, and then all of a sudden Izzy just decides to start brawling with Joe Piper for no reason. That's interesting. Carlos Solberg blows out his ACL and then chins Yuri Prohaska on the back foot with a little left hook that he barely throws. Strickland beats Khamzat Chimaev, undisputed champion Khamzat Chimaev gets beaten by Sean Strickland with a jab, a teep, and some takedown defense. Dude, and the list goes on. We got even more, man. Dude, Ilia Topuria, undefeated Ilia Topuria, absolutely unbeatable Ilia Topuria, gets beat by Justin Gaethje and walks straight into jabs like he's never boxed a day in his life. You know? You know what I mean? Dude, MMA's been going weird. MMA's weird this year, bro. And this Conor McGregor underdog pick is looking at me, man. It's really looking at me. Because Conor McGregor, here, I'll go through why. Because Conor McGregor has knockout power. That power never leaves you, man. Conor McGregor, man. Oh, yeah, man. He got that knockout. He's got that one-hitter quitter. It's like all the casuals like, man, he's gonna win this one. He's going to hit him with the right hand, or the left hand because he's southpaw, and go, bang, wah. I'm surprised. The king is back. And then he's gonna do the billionaire strut, dude. It's just the visual of that, and you don't have to be a casual to be able to visualize that and be happy about it, man. Because it does make me happy thinking about McGregor winning. The UFC would be so back; it would be better than ever if McGregor gets this one done. He immediately puts himself into a lightweight title picture and could possibly get the shot against Justin Gaethje, who he said he wants to fight next if he wins this one. Dude, I mean. But the thing is, man, it's just not logical for Conor McGregor to be able to beat Max Holloway. And yes, Max Holloway's been dropped in his last 3 fights. Dropped by Gaethje, finished by Topuria. I guess not his last 3. 3 out of his last 4 because he didn't get dropped against Oliveira because he decided to lay on him the whole time. But he did get stumbled badly by Oliveira at the end of the fight. Finished by Topuria, dropped by Gaethje, dropped by Poirier. Dropped by not an old man Poirier, but an out-of-touch, a little bit washed Poirier. So I'm worried about Max's chin, especially against a guy in McGregor who's going to be bigger, who's going to have more muscle mass, who still looks pretty fast. And I know he looks fast on the pads. And the thing is, logically, like my logical pick is, I'm going to give you my pick. My logical pick is going to be Max Holloway. Max Holloway should logically win this fight. He should win this fight by a round 1 or round 2 TKO. Logically, he should blast low kicks against McGregor for a second, and then he should catch him down the middle with the right hand or something. I think he'll be able to stumble McGregor. McGregor doesn't really challenge himself in sparring. You know what I'm saying? Like the gym that he spars at, it's not high-level guys sparring there, man. It's a random gym in Dublin, Ireland. And, I mean, it worked for him back in the day. But that was because that's a different McGregor, man. That's a McGregor that was doing all the head, body, mind stuff. He was so focused. And I know he's focused now, but he's 37 years old and he's been out of the game for 5 years. He's not nearly in his athletic prime. I know he's saying in interviews, I've nearly reached my athletic prime. I'm here. We are here. This is the return of the Mac. The Mac is back. But it's not. It's just not true, man. It's not true. He's just saying that for positive self-talk. You know what I mean? Like, he's just saying that to convince himself of something that's not true, something that he wants to be true. And it's just the reality. I think that Max Holloway is going to absolutely dominate him. And I don't want that to happen. I want McGregor to win this fight, despite both of these guys being some of my favorite fighters. I want McGregor to win this fight because it's much better for the UFC. And then, you know, Max Holloway's legacy takes a bit of a hit, and I think I'd put him a lot lower on the GOAT list than he's at right now. I think he'd still be in the top 20, but he might nearly bounce out of the top 20. He'd be knocking on the top 25's door. Knocking on the top 25's door. Shout out Lucas Tracy there. But yeah, I think that the logical pick should for sure be Max Holloway. McGregor's going to look good in the first minute or two of the fight, for sure. He may or may not open with that spinning heel kick like he did against Poirier in their third fight. There's a chance. There's a chance if he's gonna knock out Max Holloway, he's got to do it in fashionable style in the first 2 to 3 minutes of this fight, because Max Holloway's only just gonna get better and better from there. Like, you see, even earlier in his career, his first fight against Jose Aldo beat him in the first round. Jose Aldo looked like he was gonna finish him in the first round. You know, he was putting together his shots. He was landing on Max Holloway. Wasn't really landing clean, but he was finding a shot, and Max Holloway was backing up and trying to circle out and manage the distance, which he's very good at. But I think that it's just going to be a matter of time, man, before Max Holloway. I don't think McGregor, there's a chance McGregor finds the shots on Max Holloway. There's a chance Max Holloway gets dropped, and I'll be going crazy on stream if that happens. There's definitely a big chance that Holloway gets dropped by McGregor. Big chance. Big chance. Because Holloway's not going to try to wrestle McGregor, I don't think. I think he's going to stand with him. McGregor might try to shoot on Holloway because he's been working on takedowns a lot, according to his camp. But it's just a matter of time, man. And I don't think McGregor is going to be able to knock out Holloway in those first 3 minutes of the fight. It's not going to happen. Despite Holloway being dropped a little bit, he has great recovery time. Even now, he has great recovery time. He was able to recover really well against Dustin Poirier, able to recover perfectly against Justin Gaethje after being dropped. Wasn't able to recover against Ilia Topuria because he was he was able to recover against Ilia Topuria when he got stumbled the first time, but then he gets hit with the left hook of doom that's knocking anybody out on the planet, even heavyweights. So, I think that Max Holloway is just going to be able to outlast McGregor in this fight, and I think that he's going to be able to get it done. I think they'll go to the stool. I think that this fight's going to make it out of round one, and I think that they're going to make it to the stool, and then Max Holloway is going to be told to put on the pressure, and he's going to put on the pressure and beat Conor McGregor the way that Max Holloway beats fighters usually. He's going to turn on the pressure. He's going to pressure Conor McGregor, and he's going to throw volume striking at him, and he's going to hit him hard. He's going to be a lot harder of a hitter at 170. Max Holloway's power at 170 is only going to be better. And in the second round, McGregor's cardio ain't going to be great, man. He doesn't go through, from my knowledge, from what I'm saying, obviously there might be something behind the scenes that's going on. Maybe he's bringing really high-level sparring partners. I don't know. But from what I've seen, he's sparring like kids in the gym. He's sparring very low-level amateur MMA fighters in the gym. He's not putting himself through challenges in the gym with his sparring partners. And Max Holloway's sparring like Dan Ige and stuff at least. At least he's sparring real UFC fighters, and he's putting himself through that type of adversity, and that's why he's able to find these shots, and he's such a good pressure fighter. And I think he's going to pressure McGregor and hit him with the volume, and McGregor's not going to have an answer for it because he's not a volume striker, because he's a distance counter striker, and he likes everything to be clean. And it's not going to be clean against Max Holloway. If it makes it to the second round, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad, my brother. So I think that Max Holloway is going to turn on the pressure cooker, and he's going to KO McGregor, finish him by TKO, I think. I don't think he's going to knock him out cold, but it's going to be Poirier in the second fight style, I think. Except McGregor's not going to be hurt to the leg, I don't think, in this one, because I think his legs have healed well. He's been doing stem cells. But I think that this is just a bad fight to start off McGregor's comeback campaign. For him, this is a bad stylistic matchup. I think that Max Holloway is going to get this one done by a round 2 TKO. in my opinion. There you go. Those are my picks and predictions and breakdowns for this full card. My picks are Max Holloway, Paddy Pimblett, Mario Bautista to get this one back because they did fight before this. He's an underdog. He's a slight underdog here. Loner Kavanagh, Bobby Green, Bobby Knuckles, Gable, Loophole, Adrian Yanez, Luke Riley, Wang Kong, D. Pinas, Farid Basharat, Ryan Gandra, and Alessandro Costa. Those are my picks, guys. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Follow my socials at the JJMMA. We've got a big week coming up. It's McGregor fight week. I may or may not make a video before Saturday. I'll see. But until next time, I'll see you guys later, and goodbye.